everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Equality for All Makers Pride Collab YouTube Hop. Now, I'm filming this on May the 16th and we don't have a whole lot of information together for this, but it's going to work just like an Instagram hop, except you're going to hop through videos, leave a comment, there's going to be prizes, etc. I think we're doing a playlist rather than having each individual video listed down below. I'm going to ask one of my crafty friends to fix my description box to match what we're doing. So if you have any questions, be sure to look in the description box down below. Also in the description box down below is a mailing address for me. After 10 or 11 years, I finally got a mailbox. So you can send me a card, letter, postcard, etc. That is listed in the description box down below. So in today's video, you're getting a 2-for-1. This is what happens when you think you have the camera on, when you're coloring your image and you're completely done about the die cut. You look up and you ain't filmed none of it. So I refilmed coloring a different image, so you're actually going to get 2 cards in today's video. What I love about our Pride Collab is it's not so focused on rainbows. It's not so focused on literal June Pride. It's more of a celebration and a reminder that Pride is 24/7, 365, and we have a group of human beings who just want to live their lives like anybody else is allowed to. And I think they should be allowed to do that. And I like to celebrate all types of families, and you know, whether you're non-binary, like someone said, if we can be okay with the Pope changing his name and calling him his new name, then it shouldn't be an issue when someone else asks you to call them a new name. So if you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Be sure to leave a comment, say hi. I appreciate all your well wishes, etc. I've gotten a couple of emails from people, and I've been talking about this now for I think a couple of years, and for it to be like, well, when you see this video, it's already happened, but for me, we're a week out, is wild. So yeah. So anyway, all these intros are really wrong. I apologize for that. So let's head over to the craft table and we'll make this today's cards. And okay, so in the description box down below, Kevin from Stamp Anything said that he would update with all of the YouTube Hop information, so be sure to check that out. And again, that's listed in the description box down below. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a 2-for-1. So we're going to start with the long card first, and then the more easy one will come after. This stamp set, I believe, is retired. But this was the very first stamp set that I used when I was a guest designer for Stamp Anything. And this is actually how Kevin found me, because I did a haul with this stamp set and a couple of other stamp sets. And I was sad that I found them after we'd done our Pride collab. So I absolutely love these. I didn't love my card, especially the hair, but we're going to fix that and I'm going to share it with you how I do that. So I have gone back to stamping my images in Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to tell you why. When I use a hybrid ink, when I use a light color like this, it pulls the black. I don't know why or how to stop it other than not bringing your color all the way to the ink. So I've gone back to Memento Tuxedo Black, and I haven't had that issue since, knock on wood. So I'm coloring I'm making a Caucasian couple, but I'm doing 2 different undertones. The one on the left is more cool tones. I'm using E53, 51, and 50. The one on the right is more warm tone. So I'm using E21, 000, and then quadruple 0. I think it's the colors I used on the right. So all of us, no matter ethnicity, etc., we all have different undertones, and those normally are warm, neutral, or cool. So one way to differentiate between the skin colors on this card was to pick 2 different undertones. So an undertone, again, you either pull warm, so think of like an orange undertone, more neutral, where you're kind of both warm and cool. Now there's also olive, like there's several other, but just for the most part, most people are either warm, cool, or neutral. So one way that you can play with skin colors if you want to have the same skin colors on a card is to just change up the undertone. And that's really all about that. So I'm using a completely different red combo. Well, not completely different red combo. I'm using R46, 35, and 14. I'm sorry I don't have these written down. I did, but I have no idea where they went. I am mass voiceovering. This is Wednesday. I have surgery on Friday. I'm trying to also clean my craft room. So things are a little bit in disarray. And so yeah, I apologize for that. But we're going to get it done. So I did red on the dress. And then for the person on the right, I'm doing cool tone slacks. So this is E70, 79, 77, and 74, I believe. Again, another kind of cool tone brown color. And then I'm going to do a green sweater with a pink undershirt. And I wanted green because, of course, red and green go great together. But I brought in that pink so we weren't so Christmassy. But you could 100% put them in front of a Christmas tree, and this would be a really fun and cute Christmas card. So this character is wearing a sweater and has an undershirt. So this one has more of a cool tone green, so more of a bluey green, whereas the other image has more, it was yellow. I used YGs on the other one. I've used G's on this one. So that's the difference there. Now for the hair, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if it's my nibs. I don't know if it's the pressure I've been using, but I'm trying to flick and get some hair strokes, and I've been really struggling with that. So what I've been doing is when I finish the hair, I come in with a fine liner, especially when the hair is solid like this, because you really have to bring in your own dimension, because there's not, like Anne hasn't drawn any, like the one on the left-hand side. So I am flicking in the colors. I used milk chocolate. So what is that? So 29, 27, 25, and 23, I believe, are the colors that I used. E's, of course. And I love how this hair turned out. It's even better in person because of the hair strokes added in. I really love how it turned out this time. I just really love both of the images that I colored. You guys know I've loved this stamp set. Like, it's one of my favorite stamp anything has ever done. So I really, really love it. But yeah, and I also love the digitals. So make sure that you get your order in for the digitals. You have until the end of June. And again, all of the proceeds will be donated to True United. I don't think I mentioned that in this intro. I've been talking about it everywhere. I can't believe I forgot. So you can see here, this is just a double-sided marker. So it's a fine liner on one side, a brush tip on the other, and I just flicked in some lines, and it just looks so good. So for this hair, I'm going to go in with like a base color, and then I'm going to bring in the darkest color and the lightest color to add in some highlights just by coloring one of the strands of hair a solid color. And I really love doing that. I've done that now. I did a mermaid card. Was that last year's Pride or the year before? I think that was the year before. And I did her hair in turquoise. And I went ahead and added the lowlights and the highlights on each individual strand. And it just gave the hair so much dimension. I really love how it turned out. And here you can see I'm kind of taking one strand of hair and adding in the darkest color onto that. And then this is my lightest color to kind of blend it all together. And too cute. So I don't show it here. I guess I forgot. But I bring in a silver glitter gel pen. And I color her belt in glitter, and then I also color the earring as well. I'm just adding white dots. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. It just depends. We're going to get that die cut, and after I do that, I'm going to bring in a piece of paper, and we're going to do some ink blending. So you may have seen it on the thumbnail, but this card is going to be a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower. So I'm cutting down this piece of paper to 3.5 by 8.5. That is the size that I normally like to make my slimline cards. This is 2 slimlines in a row. Oh, next week's card is also a slimline card. Okay, great. That's the mood I'm in. So I just brought in some green to add as some ground, and then I'm bringing in a cloud stencil. I couldn't tell you who this is from, but I'm bringing in some tumbled glass to add in some clouds. And then I am going to cut out the Eiffel Tower from Stamp Anything. Again, I believe this is retired, out of black. So I've cut down a piece of cardstock to 7 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 3.5. So this card layer is going to go over the entire front of the card. And that's just easier so you don't have a lot of weird extra paper laying around, and it works out perfectly. So this is going to be cut out of black, and then I cut out, I don't know what this is. What is this part of the Eiffel Tower? I have no idea. Anyway, this is going to be in the backdrop, and this is what I love about playing with perspective on cards. Because of the size of this Eiffel Tower, when we put an image in front of it, or kind of in front of it, it looks like that is way in the background. But actually, it's not way in the background. It's just a smaller size and it's in the back. So that is an easy way to play with perspective on the card. And I thought this card would be fun if it looked like they were standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, about to get a picture taken or something. So I really love how this turned out. For the sentiment, I'm going to need to get a congrats word die because I don't have one that I could find. So I am doing Celebrate You. And if this silver paper looks familiar, it's because it was from the Your Paper Insider video I did a few weeks ago. So pretty, absolutely love it. And then I'm going to bring in some small squares to add on the back of the letters. So some of them will be whole and some of them I will cut in half. And then I'm going to get this adhered. And if you listen to the first video, not last week, but the week before, I mentioned a heart. Here's the heart. I initially used a bigger die to cut out my heart. I believe this was from Catherine Pooler. Just had some stuff on my desk. As you can see, my desk is a hot mess express. I'm working on it. But when I get it done, I realize that it's too big. It's just way too big. So then I'm going to bring in a smaller heart, to cut out the other part. So there I'm like, that's big. And luckily I didn't mess up the card. So I'm going to get that added, and that's it for card number 1. Okay, so for card number 2, I had this is like a project user stuff, because I had this black frame, and then I had this piece of rainbow paper, and then I had this other paper in the back. I was like, we're not using anything new today. So I think this measures probably 3.5 by 4, if I had to guess. I'm not really sure. I know I cut it out using a rectangle die. Excuse me. And then I'm going to put this on a black card base. So I've scored it at 5.5, and then I cut it at 4.25. So I actually have 2 card bases that I can use. I'm going to bring in just a plain piece of white paper. I cut these down to 4 by 5.25, and I keep them in my drawer. If you saw my craft room tour, you saw inside my drawers, and I shared where those are stored. I'm going to get all of this adhered down flat. I'm going to pop up the girly pops here, and then I'm going to bring in some stickers. Now, these stickers are from Paper House Productions, and I bought these eons ago. I believe they donated to the Instagram hop, but I can't remember if they've donated to this hop. Again, all of that information will be listed down below. So I used the gender sticker, and then I brought in this Love is Love sticker, and I'm going to add that. And once I do that, that's it. So thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I really do appreciate you. Again, check out the information. I hope you hop along with everybody else. I will see you next week for another video, and good luck. Bye for now. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. Do, 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 do.